Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. We got Drew Allar on the call for you guys. As always, if you use the raise hand function on Zoom, we can get to questions. Go ahead, start us off, Tyler Donahue.
Thank you. Drew, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I'm curious. I know that Julian Fleming and Liam Clifford did a lot of work for you guys in the first 2 weeks, but to get them rolling with some production and some momentum on the field like that going into Big Ten play, what do you think it does for those two guys, and what did it mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just gives a lot of confidence to not only them, but the whole offense. I think I said it on Saturday, but the amount of weapon, I don't think we get it credit for the amount of weapons we really do have in that receiver room. And to get those two guys going was really good for us. Definitely going to be a good confidence boost for them. Obviously, getting Liam in for his first touchdown here at Penn State was huge for him. So I was super happy for him. And I'm just super proud of those guys. You know, they do a lot of the gritty work, the stuff that doesn't get you on Sports Center or gets necessarily the stats that all the receivers obviously want. But you know they go about the business the right way. They're very pro-like. They're super consistent in how they prepare and approach practices and games. So I'm super excited for them. But we just got to keep it rolling now.
Seth Angle.
Hey, Drew, thanks for your time. We heard from Coach Franklin on Monday that this Illinois secondary is going to be a real challenge, and obviously you faced them last year. What problems have you seen on film that they kind of present?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a lot of man coverage across the board, and they have really good DBs in general. Number 14 sticks out a lot. He's on the field everywhere. He's made a couple interceptions. Yeah, I think he had two against Kansas, and one was a pick six on a screen. He just really read well, but yeah, I mean, I think they're just super patient. Really, they're patient DBs. There's not much separation on film. So we're gonna have to do a good job this week when we get our opportunities to throw it in the pass game of creating separations. But yeah, they're a really good group of DBs, and then they do a really good job in their scheme of disguising a lot of cover two with their man coverage and things like that. So they got a good scheme, and then to pair that along with good players, it's definitely going to be a challenge with us or for us this Saturday.
Daniel Gallen.
Appreciate the time this morning, Drew. We've seen Tyseer Denmark on the field on Saturday make his debut. What has stood out to him the way that he's working in practice, and where do you see him developing since he got here in the summer?
Yeah, I think it's starting to click for him mentally. I think he's physically going to be able to play at this level, and there's no doubt about that in my mind. It's just going to be learning the playbook, and I think he's done a great job of it so far throughout camp and things like that. And he has a really good room to learn from. But Tyseer has a lot of natural ability to him, a lot of natural twitchiness to him. And his in and out of cuts, and then when you get the ball to him on the perimeter, he's able to make guys miss. And he's doing a really good job right now. He's continuing to develop each week, and that's a cool thing to see. I think since the start of the season, he's already at a new level of his in terms of his game and confidence. So just looking to keep building that because we're going to need everybody in that room at some point this year. And I think Tyseer is going to be ready. I think he's ready right now, but he's definitely going to be ready in the future as well.
Rich Scarcella.
Morning, Drew. Thanks for doing this. How would you compare, how would you describe your comfort level now to last year? And where do you think it stems from?
Yeah, I mean, I think to start, I'm definitely a lot more like confident in general and comfortable. And I think that's just going through the season last year as the first time starter, just going through that experience for the first time because you don't really know what it's like until you go through that. So learned a lot from last year, obviously, and then I was able to, carry that over into spring ball. And then obviously with Coach K coming in, kind of just turn the page and reset for me. And I think I've done a good job of that so far. And I think the whole offensive staff just puts us in a good position as offense to go out and make plays and play to our strengths. And I think we've seen that through the first 3 games of the season so far. So, just looking to continue to build on that going into the rest of the season.
Can I just quickly follow? How much of that comes from experience, having that experience and last year?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the majority of it because there was a lot of things I had to deal with that I didn't expect I was gonna have to deal with. So I think just going through that, I know what to expect this year, and I just know how to prepare and handle myself a lot better, I think, and I think that's what the experience helped me with last year.
John Petishnak.
Drew, wanted to ask you about Nick Dawkins. With everything going on in this offense, one, how important is his role along the offensive line? And what are the skills or attributes that he has that allows him to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a mental standpoint, he's a super smart center, which helps me a lot, especially in the run game where I don't have to go up and make as many checks, I guess, or they just rely on Dog to make the IDs in the run game. And if I do have to fix something, I fix it. But I think Dog's super intelligent with that standpoint. He recognizes fronts really well in the box. And then in protections, I think we get on the same page throughout the week. Me and him have constant dialogue throughout the week of why I'm doing certain things. And then he knows based off film with the O-line and Coach Trout of what pressures and stunts to expect throughout the week. So I think he does a great job of making every rep in practice like it's a game like rep, which helps him carry it over in the game. And I think the physical attributes are just his natural strength. And I think he's super athletic for a center. I don't know if many people realize that. And I think the one thing that kind of separates Doc is his just care factor in general. Like he wants to be perfect in everything he does on and off the field. I think you can see that in the field of the work he's done off the field, but he has a tremendous care factor to him, which allows him just to go out and play super hard. And I think he's done a really good job so far, and he's getting better each week.
Johnny McGonigal.
Yeah, Drew, as a captain, obviously you guys have you have a pulse on the team. Coming in now to Big Ten play, how ready do you feel like the team is for conference play after a non-conference slate? And then how excited are you guys just for, the environment that you're going to be playing in on Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, I think throughout the season so far, we've done a good job as a team of worrying about our process and just refining it and perfecting it. So I think that's helped us through the first 3 weeks. I think on the offensive side of the ball, I think we've seen improvement each week, which is always what we want. We want to get better each week throughout the season and keep building off of our performances from the previous week and correct the mistakes that we made throughout the week or in that game. So I think on offensive side of the ball, we've done a good job of that. As a team, I think just how much we do good on good work is going to help us a lot going into these types of games because it's going to be super physical games in this conference, obviously. And then obviously the team Illinois is a super physical team that prides himself on out physicaling their opponent. So we're going to have to be up for the challenge on Saturday. And I think just the environment is super special in general. No matter every home game we get is a opportunity for us to cherish and take in all the moments that we get in Beaver Stadium because I think it's unmatched in college football. There's a lot of great experiences and environments throughout college football, but I would definitely have to put the Penn State Beaver Stadium up there as the best one from my experience. And I'm super excited for this weekend just because it's a really good team we're going against, and then obviously we get it at home.
Mark Wogenrich.
Hey, Drew, just as maybe a gear shift here a little bit, the 94 team is coming back this weekend for another reunion. What resonates in your building about their legacy? What's important about that team to you guys? And then maybe like in 30 years, you're trying to leave a legacy that somebody down the road is going to want to live up to as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's the second point. Obviously, we know how much the '94 team meant to the community around here in State College. Obviously, I wasn't around for it, so I didn't get to see the impact, but I get to see the impact it's left now. So it's super cool that the special season they had in '94 still lives on to this day. So I think that's something that we talk about throughout the team, trying to replicate something like that. But I think for us, it's just doing it how we go about our business each week. Like I said, it's refining our process and worrying about ourselves throughout the week, and then we're perfecting our craft. But Obviously, it's going to be super cool to see a lot of those guys back. I know a decent amount of them have been around the program multiple times, at least since I've been here and was a recruit here. So it's going to be cool to see those guys because obviously they're legends around here, not only in Penn State, but college football in general. And then a lot of them had great careers in the NFL. So it's just cool to see guys like that come back and, give back and just be around the program. So I think it's just something special to be a part of.
Tyler Donahue.
Drew, in your quarterback room, we've seen Ethan Grunkemeyer get a lot more work than was probably anticipated over the course of the year with Jackson sidelined for a while. Can you discuss how he has developed since he enrolled? And additionally, Jackson seems to be very, very close to being available for game action. What have you seen from him since he's gotten back to the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the both of them, they're extremely hard workers, and that goes for the whole quarterback room. I think those two guys specifically are doing a great job of preparing like their starters. With Grunk, I think he's just done a great job of learning the mental side of the game. Obviously, he's only been here for what is it, 9 months now or something like that. So he's doing a great job of just physically developing in the weight room and then going out on the field and taking that to the practice field. And I think mentally he's really come along. And Jackson, I mean, like people don't realize how hard that guy works. And he really pushes that whole room. We have I don't know. We have like this thing we call it the Lions Den in the quarterback room on Friday nights at the hotel where Danny just quizzes us on the call sheet. And I kid you, like last year, Jackson from like week 6 to like the end of the season did not miss a single question. I think that just shows how prepared he is because he wasn't getting the reps throughout the week. But it's just a credit and testament to him and how he prepares. And I think Grunk's starting to learn that. Obviously, he's going through it for the first time this season, and he's done a great job so far. So I'm trying to help him as much as I can, just perfect his own craft and figure out what works for him and what doesn't. But those two guys are extremely blessed and gifted with physical abilities, but they're also super hard workers on the mental part of the game. So they're both going to have super successful careers.
All right, folks. We'll do 2 more questions. Daniel Gallen and Rich Garcella. Go ahead, Daniel.
Drew, we saw Luke Reynolds get in the game late and make a pretty acrobatic catch against Kent State. Given where the tight end situation is and where he is on the depth chart now, how confident do you feel in having him out there with you? And where has he made the most strides you've seen since week 1 to where you are now going into game 4?
Yeah, I mean, I think Luke is a really physically gifted tight end again, but he's an extremely hard worker. I don't know how much he came, like how much he weighed when he first got here, but it was probably like 215, 220, and he's like a legit 250, and it doesn't look like it just because of how well he's put together. But from week 1, I think you can just see his comfort level grow. Obviously because he's getting game reps and game experience, but Luke's going to be a really, really good tight end in his future, but he's also going to be a really good tight end for us right now. And I think that whole tight end room is just elite in general. And Dink's done a great job so far too, but Luke is going to be a really good player for us this year. And he's going to be a really good player for us in the future too.
Rich Garcella, last question.
Drew, I'm going to follow up on Mark's question regarding the 94 team. You said that you've met some of the guys. Who have you met? And also, what do you know about the 94 team? What have you learned since you got to Penn State?
The only one that really comes to mind is Kerry Collins. I got to meet him at the Peach Bowl last year. He was our guest captain. So I got to have a little bit of a conversation with him, I think the day before the game. So I got to meet him then. And obviously I knew who he was before I even got to Penn State. But I think, wait, what was your second part of the question besides who I met?
Who have you met? And also, what do you know about that team?
I mean, I know they Big Ten champs, national champs, or something like that. Like I know there was like some controversy, like, or at some point with that team. So I couldn't tell you the exact history, but I know they mean a lot to this community, and it's exciting to have them back this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, folks.